Okay, so your friends should have used me because I do my best not to make it a spooky escrow.
Yeah.
I'm always like, everything's gonna be fine.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
Are we recording it?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to open up yet.
So Elliot and Kiana's, theirs had been, there were a lot of like speed bumps and times that they thought that it wasn't going to work out. And so all through the escrow, I was kind of like, I was bracing myself. I was like, all right, tomorrow's the day it's going to get bad. Like tomorrow I'm going to get some bad news. Something's going to go wrong. And
you had that fear.
And it was like scary, but every day nothing happened.
No.
And literally everything went exactly as it was supposed to go.
Yeah, the hardest thing had nothing to do with Dahl Mortgage. It had to do with getting a deposit to the escrow company, which during coronavirus, like doing a remote wire transfer is like almost unheard of. So it required going to get like a paper check, money order, whatever.
But it was
from a credit union.
from your retirement accounts, right? So
from Eric's, it was this.
In that case, this was cash.
It was cash.
Okay, got it.
And it's
but not
because-
cash, people. He had it. You had it in a bank.
Yeah.
You had it in a bank. Okay.
Yeah, it was in
not
a
like mattress.
savings account.
No mattress.
no
money.
mattress money.
Yeah, and if it's mattress money, we'll figure it out. But no mattress money.
Yeah, it was at a credit union in the Central Coast, which is part of the challenge because he couldn't go in person because it was 3 hours away.
And you had 3 days to.
We had 1 day because
1 day.
As part of the terms.
Oh, that's right.
The negotiation.
The listing agent was like 1 day.
Yeah, so we got rushed on that, but otherwise, like again, that had nothing to do with.
That was the most stressful.
Yeah.
And that was like
nothing
day one.
to do with me.
And after that, it was all super smooth.
chill.
And we actually got to move into our home like almost a week earlier than we thought we were at the start of escrow. So we got to move in before 4th of July. We missed all of the fireworks in San Francisco, which our dog loved. And we got to spend our first holiday in our new home.
Yeah, and that's what I want to point out is Hepzibah, you really helped us. Like, you were looking for opportunities outside of the norm just to like find a way to get us moved in sooner because we wanted to in our sanctuary
I'm gonna
space.
close your escrow really early. What do you want to do? Like, we could have even moved earlier, but you had work and life and all of that. So. But it was one of the most smoothest escrows, and I'll tell you why, because they did a few things right. Top 3 things, which I'll keep on saying in my shows. Both of you had around 800 FICO scores. And when I tell my clients, like, anything above 740 is perfect. It's cherry. Perfect for my clients and the lenders, like, that's immaculate credit. Anything over 740 FICO score. So that's number 1. You had a down payment, 5%, not 20%. You didn't need that, but you had it.
Yeah.
Millennials typically need help. I'd say 95% of my millennial clients need help from their parents, their family, friends, whatever, but you guys did that all on your own. So I'm so super proud of that. I'm super proud. And you got me everything quickly. You're W-2 employees and you got everything. Like, when I asked for it, you got it. So that's really like 3 huge factors of a smooth escrow. So walk me through, you finally get the house, and then the fires.
Yeah.
The fires started.
So we moved in mid-July, and by the beginning of August, the CZU Lightning Complex fire hit. And we're in a beautiful home in the trees and the mountains in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Huge garden, like a lush garden.
Oh.
And these fires are not that far away from where we're at. And
you have trees surrounded by trees.
We're surrounded by
everywhere.
trees. And what actually had happened is we had gone down to the ocean one night and we were like sitting there, and our real estate agent she texted us and she's like, hey, is your guys' house okay? I heard people are evacuating.
Oh my gosh.
From your area.
And we're like eating a slice of pizza on West Cliff, just like chilling, not a care in the world.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
It's like, hey, your house is about to burn down. Have you?
And we're like,
how you doing?
I guess we should go home.
Yeah.
Wow.
And from that moment, it was just like one of the worst experiences like in life.
Yeah. So we went home. Our house was not under mandatory evacuation that day, but we decided that we didn't want it to become under mandatory evacuation, like in the middle of the night, and have to leave at 2 a.m.
Because it eventually did.
Because it did, yeah. So we we packed up, and we went and we stayed at my parents' house, which is like 10 minutes away, but more in town. And by the next day, our house was under mandatory evacuation.
Wow.
And then the day after that, my parents' house was actually also under mandatory evacuation.
Are they in Scotts Valley?
Yeah, so we evacuated from there.
I had a few clients and friends evacuating from Ben Lomond to Scotts Valley, and the next day, Scotts Valley had to get evacuated.
Yeah.
So, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was like just so many days of things constantly changing. But the worst part about it was CAL FIRE, like the professionals, like the people with all the firepower, no pun intended, to take care of this fire, were like, it's out of control. We don't have enough people. And there were rumors, which were confirmed later, that they were going to, worst case scenario, let the fire burn to Highway 17 and Highway 1, which would mean a whole community of up around 100,000 people, including our house, including our garden, and all our possessions would just be torched.
Yeah, so we were glad that we had homeowners insurance.
Oh yes.
Yeah, highly recommend that.
That's a must. If you finance your home, it's a must. If you pay all cash, then you don't have to in California, but I mean, why would you not?
Yeah, so we evacuated and we watched those press conferences religiously, and we watched
You
all
were
of
my
the
press
maps.
conference.
Yeah.
You would watch, because I have ADD. I don't have the patience to, for an hour of, updates, but so I would just go on your Instagram, okay, what's going on, Kara? Let me know.
I was providing a lot of updates via my Instagram story, and but ultimately the fire got within about a quarter mile of our home, the fire line.
Wow.
I've hiked up to it from our house since.
A quarter mile?
But
a 5-minute walk.
As the crow flies, it's about a quarter mile away. Yeah.
Wow. As the crow flies, I love that.
But our house was still there, and so we were so glad.
That was spooky. That was spooky.
Super spooky.
Even though I know your house is fine, I'm scared right now.
It was horrible. Yeah, we every day would look at the perimeter of the mapping they would provide online. It was just creeping closer and closer and closer, and places they thought it couldn't go, it was going. And the psychological effect that has on you is horrible, because you're just
totally.
What day, what minute, and we really regretted not having cameras set up, little we have a doggy cam for him. We should just point it outside so you at least see the fire. So we never knew if the house was there or not, because the mapping was a few days behind. Gosh. And it was just weird, because we're dude, we've only lived here a month or 6 weeks. How can we lose it? And
that's a fear for sure. I mean, you can lose everything, whether economically wise or fire wise. Shit can happen, and the way you handled it all, with so much poise and grace, I was crumbling, and my house was not, but I felt I felt that energy from my clients, my friends, it was so daunting.
It was really scary. There were a lot of tears shed.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I was just really glad. We ended up leaving the state to get away from the bad air quality.
I was really happy you did, because it sucked.
And emotionally and mentally, that made the biggest difference, I think, was just all right, all of this ash that's in the sky is from these places that I've grown up loving, and this is my home, and my family's homes and stuff, and just seeing that every day was really hard. And so once we were into the clean air, it was okay, if it happens, it happens. That's what we have insurance for. We'll rebuild it. It'll be sick again.
You have your safety net. And you have your family right here.
We have what's most important to you. Odie,
Yeah.
We're not going to be leaving Odie at home alone when there's fire danger.
Yeah.
Ever again, though.
I mean, could happen for a few months, right?
Yeah. I think in the future, I mean, that's the really nice thing about, we live close to my parents now, and they love watching him. And so it's all right, if we're leaving the house for a few hours and it's fire season, we'll just drop him by my parents' house, and you can hang out with grandma and grandpa for a little while.
Nice. So how are you handling that? So you have a solution for your dog, and how are you feeling with your home now?
We're feeling pretty good. Our whole neighborhood organized a meeting with the local volunteer fire department fire chief, and what she was saying honestly made me feel pretty good about our situation, which was that the fire as it was moving in our area was a really slow moving fire. If it had been a canopy fire, they can't even really fight that very well. Okay. So it was a slow burning ground fire in the San Lorenzo Valley area. And she basically said if you had 4 to 6 feet of bare earth cleared between your house and like the woods, then there's a lot better chance that your house can be defended. So that's what we've been working on since then. Is like that bare dirt. Clearing out a lot of redwood duff and stuff like that. Like getting tree branches trimmed up, and just like becoming prepared.
You're preparing, exactly. Yeah, it's like you're preparing for a test of life. You know, like that's all you can do is prepare. Yeah. Prepare for the worst and hope or believe in the best, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just kind of like, hey, like this is our home now. Like we want to protect it and do everything that we can to make sure that it's as safe as it can be.
Yeah.
So we've been working on that. Luckily, the previous homeowner had done a lot of that kind of work already. Good. So we're a little bit more limited in what we have to do, but it's still plenty of work.
That's a lot.
So don't be scared to buy in the mountains. Yeah, Kira can walk you through all of it.
Yeah, hit me up. I'm happy to talk about it.
She's full of information. Like I'm always learning something watching you, and I appreciate both of you so much.
We appreciate you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And Odie for making an appearance on my spooky escrow. I know the spooky escrow wasn't spooky, but losing your fucking house was spooky as hell.
I mean, that's the cool thing though, is I thought it was gonna be super spooky. I was like ready for it.
We were waiting around every day to hear like, oh, here's one stressful event.
Like, hey, we're done. When do you want to move in? Like, we can move in early.
Like, for real?
It was so simple. It was submit documents, pay a down payment, pay the other little fees, and boom, we moved in. Like, it was seriously that simple. It was like, like buying a car or like a firearm is probably more stressful and harder in California than buying a house through Dahl Mortgage.
I love that. Oh, yay. Thank you so much.
Seriously. It was very convenient.
Once again, thank you so much for being here and one of my favorite clients and lovely friends.
Yeah, cheers.
Bye.